Coming up on this episode of the Unusable podcast...
Product-led growth.
Skype steals focus.
Charging a battery sets Andy's house on fire. Hello and welcome to the Unusable podcast, where we discuss the importance of user experience in technology and the world around us, and talk about great design that just works, or moan about it when it doesn't. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, David.
Hiya. Everything's going perfectly fine today, isn't it? No technical problems at all.
What's gone wrong, David? What's gone wrong?
Oh, just things, everything's going wrong. In fact, I've had just a bad day in general with technology, but I mean, it's too complicated to get into, just websites and stuff. Drupal.
Stuff not working. Oh, Drupal. Oh, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
That does not sound like a recipe for success.
What's that noise there? Oh, you're popping a cork.
I am popping a cork. So tonight's drink of choice is this, which is called... It's a whiskey, and it's called Seaweed and Aeons and Digging and Fire.
Seaweed whiskey? Lovely.
Yep. It's,
right, good.
It's actually
I'm
not
on
bad.
some Peroni, just on the lager.
You say mainstream.
I need a good drink after today.
Well, someone made a comment about our podcast. It's better when we're drunk, so...
There's a really good podcast called the Drunken UX podcast, and they talk about the same thing that we talk about, but they're so much better than us because they're prepared. They research their topics, and but the thing is, but they're American, but we can sort of let them off for that. But they're called the Drunken UX, but I think that we get drunker.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think we should be the Drunker UX podcast.
Maybe. I don't know if that's the measure of quality, though, is it? How drunk the hosts get.
It definitely isn't. Right, okay. Anyway, enough of this random nonsense. What are we talking about today?
I thought we could have a little delve into the world of product-led growth.
Right, okay. I don't know if we should recognise what's going on, but my wife just sort of opened the door and crawled in.
It was...
I told her that we're not recording a video, but she seems to think that she needs to crawl through. Like she's practising... Oh my god!
Oh, that was...
Everything's going wrong today. Everything's going wrong.
That was magnificent.
No, it's fine. It looked like, when you were a kid, did you ever have to practice how to escape your house if there was a fire? You had to crawl underneath the smoke. We had that. We had a fireman came to the school and told us how to do it. Anyway, nothing. This is all completely irrelevant. Oh my god! How long can we? I'm sure whenever we record a podcast, the length of the short bit of ridiculous banter at the start before we get onto the proper topic, it seems to be getting longer and longer.
That's probably
and more ridiculous.
That's probably the best bit of the podcast, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine people just turn off when it gets to the actual topic. Right, what are we talking about, Andrew?
Product-led growth.
Oh god!
Have you heard about it before?
Only when you described it yesterday. And in fact, it sounds like such a boring topic, but you did describe it in such a nice way that I have allowed you to talk about it again. So don't let me down.
I've been given permission. So, okay. You've put the pressure on now.
Absolutely.
So traditionally, people would sell things, specifically software, with a sales team, right? You would phone someone up, you would try and explain to them the benefits of your software. But what product-led growth is it's the field of study into giving people I am doing this so badly.
Oh my god. When you described it to me, you made it sound like such an interesting topic to talk about.
I think it is genuinely interesting. I'm just not being eloquent right now.
Okay.
So basically, you're letting the product do the talking for you. So if you've been to use a product like, say, Slack or Figma, these products tend to have like a free trial, don't they?
Yeah. Okay.
And that allows you, the user, to experience the value of it almost straight away. There's no...
Yeah, okay.
You don't need a sales pitch. You don't need to read loads of marketing material. You just get into the product. There's excellent onboarding. There's training. It's obvious. It's just, but the idea is, for a company that sells software, is you can do away with your sales team, or you can slim down your sales team. Instead, you replace that with just having a great product and letting people try it out.
This all sounds like something that is completely not new. This is just a demo, isn't it?
Well, yeah, like all the best things, it's not new. It's just someone's given it a name, and...
Oh, okay. So it's become a thing now that it's got a name.
But I also think it's creeping more so into business software. So I think if you go back 20 years, in a large business, if you were buying software like something awful like Salesforce, you would have a salesperson... It is awful. If you've used Salesforce, it's awful.
All right, right, okay, fine.
But you would have a salesperson talk to you about the benefits, and you don't really get to see what it does. You just get told how it's going to improve your life.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas you fast forward today and you think about something like Slack, and it's very different. People just sign up for it online and they instantly get a free trial and they go, oh, it's amazing. And then they invite all their colleagues, and then before you know it, you're on Slack, and then, and then you need to use maybe an extra feature or an option that suddenly means you need to put a credit card in, and then before you know it, you've paid.
Yeah, okay.
But the reason I think it's interesting for us and our audience is that it's using the user experience to sell the product. So,
of course, yeah.
So you're basically using the UX as your sales team. So rather than investing in salespeople, rather than investing in sales collateral, you're actually investing in your product. If you make your product amazing, if you make the onboarding amazing, if you give it then as a free trial, then people should be wowed sufficiently by it.
Yeah.
That they want to buy it. They just want to upgrade.
I think what you're describing here is something I'm probably so used to software that does this kind of thing that I'd completely forgotten about the old way. Because big businesses probably work in a very different way to how I work. I do work for a company, but we're a small company. And if I start using a new software tool, for example, I'll play with it, I'll get it, I'll play about with it, and then I'll immediately know the benefits. But for a big company, I suppose it probably doesn't work like that, does it? They have to be sort of told by a salesperson what they need and almost force it into their kind of process, because a big company has like 1 million people working for them. So they can't just all be messing about with experimenting with different software types, can they, I suppose?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, traditionally, especially in business software, you're right, it was a sales team who would go out and knock down those doors at potential...
Knock down the doors? That's a different sort of sales team.
Metaphorically speaking,
yeah,
they'd be knocking down the door, wouldn't they, at the client?
Yeah, they would probably be giving a demo of some sort, though.
Yeah, potentially.
But that demo probably would be like handheld.
Yes, it might be staged. It might be carefully architected, for example.
This makes me think. Then I don't know if I'm going too far into this concept, but the way you sort of said that people sign up for software and then they go through like a tutorial or whatever that explains all the benefits, and the thing sort of sells itself and explains itself. It makes me think of games, specifically like mobile games. Have you ever seen like an advert for... It's a bit weird to explain this, but have you ever seen an advert for a game that sort of shows you how the game is, to sort of try and get you to be hooked on the game?
So you mean you can play it?
Yeah, so they go, oh, well, farm some crops, and then you've got some wheat that you can feed to your pigs, and then you can make some soldiers, and then you can move your soldiers to attack someone, that sort of thing. Those sort of games are quite popular on mobile. They seem to be.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
But what? So you get to...
Is it that sort of thing that kind of gets you hooked into the game without explaining what the game is? You just throw them straight into it.
Yeah. It's wowing people with some value. You're giving people value before they've spent any money. That's what you're doing. So they've come to your website, say for example Figma. You go to Figma's website, you put an email address in. Within minutes, you're in the actual tool itself, designing stuff, and it's so self-explanatory. That's
a good point, because Figma is an online design tool, isn't it? Yeah,
but within minutes, you're designing stuff, and it's so obvious and it's so brilliant that the onboarding where it tells you how to work it for the first time. is so good that before you know it, you've told all your friends about this amazing tool.
That's a good point, yeah.
And then you start using it without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later or a month later, it then says, oh, but you want to just do this thing. Put your credit card in and you can buy it. And you do that. You've basically sold, Figma doesn't have a sales team going around design agencies saying, use our tool instead of InDesign or whatever people were using before.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just sells itself. The product sells itself. And it only does that, though. The important thing is, it only does that because it has a brilliant user experience.
Right. Okay. So that's the key thing, isn't it? They've really thought about how to make something that's good.
They've got a great product and they've got a great onboarding journey. I think you have to have those two things. You have to have a brilliant product that gives value.
Yeah.
And people have to be able to get value from it quickly without needing specialist training. So it's no good. Your product could be brilliant, but if you've got if you need a manual to understand it, it's not going to work. It needs to be. It needs to either be self-explanatory or have brilliant guided onboarding that shows you how to use it for the first time.
So, are the days numbered for rubbish software that has no benefit?
I think rubbish is always relative, isn't it? Though, because what we're saying is rubbish was pretty state of the art 20 years ago. So I think.
Yeah,
I think rubbish
of course.
I
suppose.
I think things are always the days are always numbered for things, aren't they? There's always something new going to come along, and you either have to evolve or.
I suppose that's what I mean.
Die.
I mean that the bar is always getting higher. People expect better software. Better software comes out, sort of entices people away from the other software, and then that cycle just kind of continues.
Yeah.
So this is just another way of the bar getting higher, and
I think so.
Software is proving itself to be better just by being good, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think the thing that's changed is that businesses are now buying software a bit like how consumers have always bought stuff. So if you think for the longest time, if you wanted to go and buy, I don't know, a new television, you would go into or you would have done before the pandemic, obviously, you'd go into a shop and you would look at them and you'd try them out and you would experience them, and based upon that experience, you would then purchase something.
That is how I like to buy a TV, by actually playing with it. I can't buy a TV online.
A lot of consumer purchasing is based upon some sort of trial or demo or friend recommendation, isn't it? And I just think that business software hasn't necessarily been that way, but it is going that way. I think that's the difference. I think in your workplace, a lot of things were bought by management and dictated down, whereas now the employees themselves are going, "Oh my god, we must use Slack as a team. We must." And they're almost forcing management into doing it because they've had this great product-led experience, or they just start using it without even telling management. They just all start
because
using
it's free.
Slack.
They can, I suppose. Yeah.
And then they tell management, "Oh, we've been using Slack for weeks and it's been amazing and we've improved productivity
and we've built it into our processes now, so it's
can we buy it? It only costs this much money and we unlock all this extra stuff." It's just flipping around how businesses buy software, I think.
So what you've described there, you say it's free to start and then you can pay for unlocking extra features. Don't we call that freemium? Isn't that the same thing as freemium?
Yes, definitely.
But I suppose that's not what you're describing. You're describing something that's also got this onboarding process.
I don't think there's a single defined product-led methodology. I just think it's the general thought process around giving people value straight away.
Okay.
So things that I think might be product-led. So giving people, for example, like a free tool is kind of product-led. Yeah. So maybe you give them like a cut-down free tool that then they can buy a full version of. I think that's product-led. I think letting people have some sort of trial is product-led. I think
you mean like a week-long trial, a 7-day trial?
Yeah, or I have seen it before, and this is something that we want to try on our platform, is giving people like a lifetime free account, but with really low limits.
Yeah, okay, so that's the freemium that we described, isn't it?
Yeah, so you can sort of get logged in, and we're going to obviously be able to capture those users and their email and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Get them into our ecosystem with a free tier, but hopefully, it doesn't even matter if only if only 2% upgrade,
yeah,
that's still, good as long as we can get enough sign-ups enjoying the free experience. It's all about getting that volume up.
Yeah, and it's good that you've got those people using it for the time that they will upgrade, which, might be in a month or it might be in a year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah? You're keeping people in your ecosystem. Because while they're registered, you can also do things like send them mailings, and you can try and get them engaged with the platform. It doesn't... As long as you're in people's consciousness, they might not need your product at a paid version right now, but in a year's time when they do need it, you'll be there because they remember that they've got a free version, a free account with you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so imagine if you are working for a software company, you're building some software.
Yeah. Whose
responsibility is it to onboard the users? You're the person who's building the software. You're making Photoshop, something like that. Is it your responsibility to onboard people as well, or are you just focusing on building the software? Or is this the role of a specialist UX person that didn't exist before?
I think it depends on so much. Our organisation is tiny, so people have to wear many hats.
Yeah.
Obviously, in a larger organisation, you probably could and maybe even should have a dedicated team just designed purely around optimizing that onboarding process. But I don't think there's a one size fits all, and I think it's kind of naive to assume there's a one size fits all. Yeah, but I think the responsibility of making it a great experience, should lie with the whole team. It's designers, developers, it's everyone working together, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if I had a software product and I wanted to do some product-led growth, I mean, what's the first start? What do I do to start?
So the key with product-led growth is making sure that you have a product that people can get value from in a trial.
Well, I'd hope so anyway.
No, but you have to make sure that your product is something... So a naive thing to do would just be to add a free trial or something like that to your website.
Yeah.
But if your product is the sort of thing that requires a manual and a training session and people can't see value from it quickly,
right,
then you're just going to undermine your existing sales team. Do you know what I mean?
So people will log in and they'll go, I don't understand this, it's rubbish, and never come back again.
Yes, yeah. If your software product is really niche or... do you know what I mean? It's not for everyone. I think it's kind of... It would be naive to say that product-led growth is this kind of one-size-fits-all for everyone.
So what, is this only for something that's got mass appeal then? I don't think so. I think something like a very specific software. So, you mentioned Figma before and something like Photoshop. Those are not niche tools, but I mean niche compared to the whole world's population, I suppose.
I think the important thing is it has to be something that people can get value from quickly, and I think you have to have enough of an audience that you could make up the money on volume.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, you have to have something that people logging in for a trial are going to get value from, right? So there's no point doing product-led growth. Like I said, if your product requires like a massive training session or a manual, then product-led growth isn't going to work for you because people are going to log in and go, what's this? Why do I care? And leave. But also, if you're doing really specialist medical software, there aren't enough people in the world to try and get into your trial because, only a certain percentage of people are going to sign up ever. If your audience is, 20 massive businesses worldwide, then product-led growth isn't for you because what do you do once those 20 businesses have had a product-led trial? It doesn't make any sense. So I think you have to have a large enough audience that you can, optimize your onboarding flow for, and optimize the process for. And I think
so. Like cast a wide net.
Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you have to be like mass appeal Facebook, but you need enough people out there that might be interested. You can work the percentages in your favor. If you give out 1,000 trials, you maybe get 10 paying accounts from that, and those sorts of numbers, you have to make those work for you.
Do you remember years ago there was a thing called Google Wave?
I do.
And what they did is they sort of sold it as this, well, they didn't sell it, it was free, but they made a big song and dance about it being this cool product that everyone's going to use, and it's going to do this and that. And you have to have an invite to get it, but it's once you get it, it's free. And the kind of the way of getting it was like it was a prize to get, because not everyone had an invite. And once you got it, you'd go through this probably short onboarding process, and then you're dumped into it. And I mean, what happens next is, well, I can only tell you what happened for me, which is I realised I didn't have a clue what it was for, why I needed it, so I closed it and never went back to it ever again. And I think a lot of people did the same thing, and they probably were like, oh, it's rubbish. It probably was a very cool tool, but with a very specific niche purpose that would be very, very useful and very good for a small number of people. But it was sort of given out to a wide amount of people who probably didn't need it.
Wasn't Google Wave like touted as a replacement for email?
Replacement for email and also Twitter and Facebook, I think, maybe. I think they were trying to do everything, but also probably nothing.
Yeah, that's just another one in a long line of Google's flops, isn't it?
Can we do an episode about all of the things that Google have cancelled after a certain amount of time?
Well, there's certainly enough there to go on, isn't there?
I know. I could just read them all out to you.
That'd fill an episode. That'd fill 45 minutes.
I know.
Just a list of Google's failures.
Not to mention the amount of times that they've renamed their the Google Docs or Google Apps. Wait, Google Apps then became Google something.
Wait, hold on. It was called G Suite for a while.
G Suite. Yeah.
Google Apps.
Changed to Google Apps, but that was too confusing because it's not actually apps.
Is it now called like Google Workspace or something? Isn't it called now? I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah, they like to keep people on their toes, don't they?
Yeah. If you're interested in product-led growth, the guy that kind of figureheads the term and the area is called Wes Bush, and he's written a book, and there's loads of materials online. So if you're interested in it, go and look it up, because I'm sure he explains it in far more depth and far more eloquently than I have. So, yeah.
Wes Bush. Is that his name?
Yes. Why are you saying it like that?
What? I'm just saying his name.
Wes.
Why are you laughing?
Bush.
Bush.
Are you just like you saying Bush? Is that what's happening here?
Andrew, can I tell you about our latest Twitter followers, please?
Yes. Just bear with me a second while I find out how to say hello in Russian.
In Russian? I haven't checked. I don't know if any of them are Russian.
Привет.
Are you Google translating?
I think it's Privyet.
Right, okay.
Привет.
Right, so, Joshua Lawrence.
Privyet.
Andrea McKinley.
Privyet.
Zach Breakstone.
Privyet.
Jen Blatz.
Privyet.
John Horrigan.
Privyet.
What if you're saying it wrong? You're going to look so silly.
Google told me, so I'm trusting Google.
Oh, okay. John Horrigan.
Privyet.
Toby Adebisi.
Privyet.
Jess Weiss.
Privyet.
Sarah Barkley.
Privyet.
And Elaine Mateus.
Privyet.
Good. 3, 2, 1.
Bad usability nightmares.
That could not have been more out of time.
It was in time on my side.
Right. Have you got any? Have you had a bad usability nightmare recently, Andrew?
Well, no. I've had the opposite. I've had a good usability, excellent experience.
Whoa! A good usability wet dream.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
I was trying to think what's the opposite of a nightmare.
Oh, okay. That makes slightly more sense. Slightly. Only slightly.
Okay. Right, what's your good experience?
Well, we bought a new printer.
Hold on.
And printers... So just to prefix this, as I'm sure everyone else agrees, printers are a nightmare, universally.
Oh my god, printers are the worst.
Every
bad experience I've ever had with technology, I think, has been a printer has been the root cause.
So, I suppose it just goes to show how bad they were that I was amazed when we got this printer and the lack of problems I encountered. It just stood out as a really unusual, amazing experience. Just the fact that nothing went wrong and nothing was difficult made it really stand out.
Yeah, you didn't have to install any drivers or anything like that.
All I did was I took the printer out of the box. I took off all the packaging stuff. I put the cartridge in.
Right.
I plugged it in.
The 7-colour cartridge.
It's a laser printer, so it's only got one toner cartridge. That's it.
It's just one colour.
It's mono. It's black and white.
Oh, all right. So
But
you won't have that problem then, where it's run out of magenta, and it goes, I can't print black and white.
No, we'll not have that problem. But I was amazed. I literally plugged it in, and then I thought I'd have to at least tell my computer that I'd got a new printer, but I didn't. It was just there in the printing options.
Okay. No drivers. You don't have to install this. You don't have to put a CD in, a driver disc or something.
No, I just literally just went to file print, and it went. What do you want to print to? Do you want to save as a PDF, or do you want to print to that laser printer? And I went that printer, and then it just printed it. And when it printed it, it didn't get jammed. It didn't do stripes across the page, or it just printed what I'd asked it to print.
Wait. Did it print it in A4 or American letter format or Hungarian?
In fact, you know what it even did? It printed it on A4 double-sided. So it saved some paper.
Oh, right. You normally have to really delve into the options to find the double-sided option.
No, it just defaulted to I guess they probably want to save some paper. I'll do it double-sided.
Oh, well, this is a shock.
Oh, hold on, my headphones have decided to restart themselves and I cannot hear you right now.
Oh, my God. You've got technology that's far too complicated.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, yeah. Yep, good. Okay,
right.
That's better.
What happened there? Your headphones rebooted.
I don't know. Every once in a blue moon.
You've got ridiculous technology.
I know. I'm sorry. What was wrong with the wire?
I plugged mine in like a man. I've got the inconvenience that I can't walk more than 2 meters away from my computer, like a man.
Because everybody knows women can't possibly use plugged-in headphones.
Oh yeah, I meant it in the sort of I'm tough. I didn't mean that women can't use headphones. That's ridiculous.
Oh, okay.
Like a real man, I suppose. Okay. Is what I meant to say. I love the simplicity.
Okay.
The brutal simplicity of just plugging it in. I love sticking my thing into the slot. Can we move on?
Yes, please.
I don't know where this is going. Right, so after you've got a good story, we need a really bad one. I don't think I've got one that's that bad, to be honest. I mean, apart from terrible technology I've been working with on a daily basis, but let's not mention that. It's a bit too complicated to get into. I know just a really weird one. I mean, I won't be the first person to notice this, but so we use Skype to talk to other people on our team. We'll just Skype each other. You know, some people use Slack, video chatting, or Teams video chatting or whatever, but we use Skype. It's free. It seems fine. Yeah. What do you use, Andy?
At work, we use Slack.
Use Slack. Oh, you have to pay for it. I think we've got the freemium version. What I've noticed is that if someone calls you and you press spacebar, it will answer the call, even if you're doing something else. So if you're typing and someone happens to call you and then you press spacebar, it will auto answer. So that's taken me by surprise a few times. Where someone calls me and then suddenly their face appears and I'm like, whoa! I was just typing some erotic fan fiction. Whatever happened.
That is so annoying.
And suddenly, yeah.
Do you know what though? I've had this, things stealing focus. Basically, that's the bugbear, isn't it? I've had this with a lot of things. Actually. Do you know what else does it? If you're on a Zoom conversation,
okay,
and someone, maybe it's in a window and you're doing something else in another window, and then the person that you're on the call with decides to share their screen.
Right.
It just instantly full screens and takes over focus. So whatever you were doing, if you were in the middle of typing something, it just it just suddenly takes over, which is annoying.
I think of another time when focus is a problem. I've got 3 screens here, right? Which is, it's a bit ridiculous. I've got my laptop and I've got a Mac monitor and I've got quite an old monitor. I like to have the old monitor because when I'm making websites, I like to see what it's like on a really crappy old monitor and also a nice, fancy new one with nice colours and stuff. Why am I telling you that? Oh, okay. So sometimes something will gain focus somewhere else that I'm not looking at, and I'll do something like delete, and the thing that I'm looking at hasn't deleted, but it's deleted something in a folder over there.
I think this is
I find that a bit of a problem.
Well, I think this is a bit of a first world problem though, because I think if you weren't such a
oh yeah, definitely.
I think if you weren't such a show off with like 4 monitors, whatever it is, then
three monitors.
Oh yeah, four would be excessive. I think.
That would be far too excessive.
I think if you weren't such a show off, then yeah, you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, not everyone's going to have that problem. I've got 2 monitors that I can't look at them all at once. Oh no! Whoa, woe is me.
It is a problem though, isn't it? Stealing focus. Like,
yeah,
I've had it before where I've almost sent people in chat my password. So I've been like maybe on a website typing in my password.
Oh, okay.
And I'm not looking at the screen. I'm typing in my password.
So type, press return, and actually it might have sent to a friend.
Yeah, something else has stolen focus.
Yeah.
And yeah, it might send to a friend. Send my password to a friend. That's
dangerous. You have to sort of see how good a friend they are. Will they log into your email and check up on your business?
So I've got a bit of a bad usability nightmare. I recently bought a new battery for my. I'm a real geek. I've got a radio controlled car.
Okay. Fine.
It's like
it's not the geekiest thing, though, is it?
Okay.
Is it the geekiest thing?
I don't.
It's not the geekiest thing you could have a battery for.
It's up there, though, isn't it? It's up there.
I think pretty much, yeah.
But it's a lipo battery. It's a lithium polymer battery, a bit like what you'd find in a phone.
Right, this is where the geeky stuff comes in, is it?
Well, maybe. But the bad usability nightmare is that it has this charger, right? And the charger doesn't just charge this battery; it can charge different types of battery.
Is this the charger that came with it?
No, you buy a charger separately.
Okay.
But basically, it has options on it. It's not just like a like your phone just has a plug that you plug in. It has settings on it. You can choose like the voltage that it should charge on and the chemistry of the battery, whether it's like a lipo or a whatever it is, and you can change the current that it's going to pump into it. There's settings.
Sounds quite technical.
Well, it is, and the problem is, if you get any of these settings wrong, there is a not insignificant chance that it's going to set on fire. And
wow, that's a failure and a half, isn't it?
Which I think is a bit of a kind of a bit of a UX nightmare, isn't it? You choose the settings to charge this battery in your house.
If you get it wrong, you'll die.
If you get it wrong, there is definitely going to be some flames and possible risk of death.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah. I mean, are the settings quite well explained? Because
no,
you'd hope. Oh right.
No, because the battery, the terminology that's written on the battery, doesn't match the terminology on the charger.
What's the terminology? I don't understand.
So on the charger, you have to say whether it's 1 cell, 2 cell, or 3 cells.
Okay.
But on the battery, it says 2S.
What's an S?
I don't know. But that basically means 2 cells. 2S means 2 cells. But
I assume you're spelling cells with a C, not an S.
Yes, as in 2 cell battery cells. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I honestly don't know. But there's all sorts of like crazy warnings on it, like don't leave it unattended. Do whatever you do not charge it up and then go to bed or whatever, because it's
you have to be watching this battery the whole time it's charging.
It's quite scary. The way it's worded makes it sound like there's a fairly decent chance that it's going to burn your house down if you're not careful.
Wow. Right. I'd be very scared of that.
But my point is, why is it, if it's that dangerous, why are they giving a meathead like me the option to get it wrong?
Well, I mean, in America they sell guns to people. In hardware shops you can buy a chainsaw or something. People sometimes do need dangerous tools. It's just that.
But I can't work out why it can't just, you plug it in. Why can the charger not ask the battery, what sort of battery are you? And then, why can't it just work it out? Why do I have to configure the charger in a way that's not going to burn my house down? Can it just not?
It's expecting you to be an expert in it, isn't it? Which is it's a bit too much to ask for. Yeah, I would be very worried about this because I'm no expert in battery charging technologies. I mean, who is?
No, that's the thing. Like, I kind of get that, if you're, it's just kind of a specialist battery, and if you've got one, you are a hobbyist that's into radio controlled cars.
Yeah, but still, the chance you're going to get it wrong is
yeah,
there is a chance. There is a chance that you might just absent-mindedly put it on the wrong setting.
Yeah, and I'm a hobbyist in radio controlled cars. My interest is not in battery chemistry. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and like, how do you spell cell with an S or a C?
Yeah. By the way, I'm sure if Joe's listening, Joe will tell us all about what
Who's
the
Joe?
S stands
Your
for.
friend Joe.
Yeah.
He'll send us an email, I'm sure.
Yeah, he will. He will tell us. But I just don't know why I've got the option to burn the house down. Why give me that power? That just
is that what the settings are? Is it like 1 cell, 2 cell, 3 cell, house fire?
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I think basically every option other than the right one is house fire.
Yeah. All right, great stuff. Anyway, that is the end of the podcast. If you have seen or used something unusable recently, we want to hear about it. You can email us at podcast@theunusable.com, and we're on Twitter @unusablepodcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, there's plenty more. In the last one, we talked about changes brought about by coronavirus that we think should stay, and we also have unusable t-shirts and hoodies available to buy on the website podcast.theunusable.com. That's Andy's baby, the website there. He's very, very, very proud of it. A static site made in 11T, hosted on Netlify. That's not interesting information. Just
it gets 100 out of 100 in every Core Web Vital. In every Lighthouse metric.
That's what you're proud of, right? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anyway, music is by Gold5472. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcast so you'll get a notification about the next one. And that is it. Until next time, goodbye!
Au revoir!